my words got a lot of people upset, right? Which is fine. But I also understand that, first of all, I want to say peace and assalamu alaikum. And I appreciate y'all being here, jumping in this live. You understand me joining me for what's always a good conversation. You understand me? Always a good conversation. Mm, okay. We here, ain't we? All right, so I feel like that I bring up certain conversations because I feel like it's important to have them. And I see this one really struck the heart, and I thought about before I said it, but it resonates on both sides, right? It causes offense on both sides, right? And I'm fine with that though, right? People should take offense if they feel like they're OG and they're doing the right thing, and people will agree if they feel like that hasn't been their experience in reality. And it's not a young versus old thing. It's just what is the truth of reality and how do we change it so that it fits a better one. Give me a second. All right, I like that. I like better. I'm about to send out my YouTube live light, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this topic a bit. Boom. Let me send this out. Send it out to my community. Too early in the morning. All right. What up, Bashir? What up, Bashir? What's up with you, man? That's my brother, man. Make sure y'all lock in, listen to his music and everything. So, all right, let me explain what I mean by first of all, we got to quantify it. I want to have some of you all come in and ask. I mean, and share in this conversation. I've seen a lot of so-called old heads in their feelings. You understand me? Cursing in the comments, getting angry, which further proves my point, man. You can't be an OG on IG talking shit in the comments, man. Come on, man. That's a young person's game, man. Gotta relax. That ain't no OG shit. Y'all kick that out. I don't know what kind of OG mentality you think you got, but that ain't it. You feel me? Um, so here's my reality, right? And this is what I mean by when I say that, the OGs don't exist. I'm talking about a real OG culture, right? I'm not talking about singularity. Mostly all of the time when I'm speaking, I'm talking about the broader stroke of things rather than singularity. And this is why you should never take anything personal because nobody is actually talking about you, right? I'm not talking about one person and their deeds, right? You may feel like, yo, well, I give advice to the youth. Yo, I do this, that, and the third. Come on, man. You already know I'm not talking about you specifically. I don't know you to even speak upon you like that. But the reality of it is that when I'm talking about an OG, I'm talking about those who are in position, right? Those who are in position, because in order to be an OG, it ain't just talking about your age. Your age don't make you an OG. It's like if you are a rapper and an OG is somebody that's been in the game before you, right? That's successful, that has experience, plus can create opportunity for you, right? And does. That to me is qualifying to say, yo, you are OG. You see the young YGs, you see them coming up, you give them the game, and you create opportunities for them by opening up doors so that they can go further than you. That to me is OG, right? Like giving advice to the young, teaching things of that nature, that's being a man. That to me is just being a man. But an OG It's somebody who provides opportunities, who teaches the game, and who makes a way for their replacement. See, all of the names that y'all go name, listen, I've been doing this for 10 plus years actively, right? Where people know who I am. You know how many OGs, so-called, that y'all be naming? I can't name not one of them who reached out for an opportunity. Not one. And I'm talking, I mean, peers of my age have reached out, people younger than me, people in my same bracket. But see, this is why when I look at the OGs, I'm like, shit, I don't owe nobody nothing. And nobody ever was like, man, I love what 19 Keys doing and them doing. I'm gonna help create opportunities for them. I'm gonna help open the door. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give bro a number, call, give him some mentorship advice, give him the game. Never happened. And it ain't an OG on this planet Earth that can call that out and be like, come on, man, 19 Keys line. As soon as I seen them doing that thing with the shifters, or I see them doing that thing to BW, or I see them doing that high level conversation thing, or I see them on tour, or I see them teaching, or I see them moving, I reached out. I provided opportunity. I seen what y'all got going on. I want to help make this thing bigger. It ain't not one that can say that. So I don't give a damn about that so-called OG talk. Because the OGs that I know, so-called, they just old heads, and what they do is they watch you, hoping that you make a mistake, and then they got something to say. They want to hit you what I told you. Say, oh, these little niggas ain't nothing, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not OG material. That's not OG material. We're not talking about you being old and you just saying something. No, we talking about providing opportunities. What they do is they be like, bro, I love what you're doing, man. You know, I've been watching you. Ain't gonna help a lick though. OGs ain't, man, I see 19 Keys, EYL, they creating a platform over there. What they got going on is huge for the culture. That's beautiful. Let me see if I can reach out to them and see if I can get people on the platform so we can create more verticals in the culture that help expand us, because I love what they doing. No, but bro, I watch you, I'm learning from you, this, that, and the third, but I can't find one that ever reached out and was like, yo, I love what y'all doing over there, because what y'all doing is solid. Ain't none. So that fake OG culture y'all talking about, that's fake. That's fake. That's gatekeeper culture. I'm gonna tell you what they will do, though. This is the game, though. I'm gonna give y'all the game. What they will do is they try to find one. They try to find one amongst. And when they try to find one amongst is they will say, well, we're helping this one. But what they do is they try to use whoever they help as a way to control the rest. Well, see, we can't let everybody y'all in, but we're gonna let one in and we control them, and then they control the opportunity for everybody else. Come on, man. We know the game. It's a gatekeeper culture. They want to control the young hyenas. They don't want to let you in the door to start providing your own way and opportunity. They ain't no torch passing no more. Ain't nobody passing no torch. Ain't nobody saying, man, I see the potential. Let me give you the game. Let me put you on this platform. Let me prop you up. Now, I do that. People say, well, Keys, you OG. I'm the YG, man. I'm a young guy. I ain't no old guy. I'm a young guy. You understand me? I just happen to move like an OG. That's all. You know, I don't mind putting my peers on my platform. I ain't afraid. But see, I grew up in a different type of world, right? Where, you know, every time I seen opportunity, or every time I was inside an organization, there was always people going back and forth. There was always jealousy. And I think it may come from a place of insecurity. Oh, this brother could take my place. This brother's a leader, right? Instead of helping cultivate that, it was always seen from a fearful position. The older men that was in positions, I'm talking about, they got money, they got power, they got position. But they like, nah, this young YG, we can't give him the game. We can't put him up in position. We got to control him first. We got to neuter the mind first. Somebody say 45, man. Shit. They talking about we got to control you first. I'm not letting you niggas control me. Y'all ain't worthy of it. Only God got me like that. They want to put you under their spell first, to where you have to give up parts of yourself in order to be a part of that reality. We don't do that around here. And this is why you got to listen when you got young people talking. Yes, you got to listen when you got older people talking. See, the old men for counsel, young men for war. We're not supposed to agree on everything. We take counsel from you, but at the same time, we're supposed to be more of the radical group, more of the revolutionary group. Y'all supposed to get into the wisdom and err on the side of caution. You're not supposed to understand everything, because I'm going to see things from my age vantage point. You're going to see things from your age vantage point, and it's going to be respected. But see, the game done changed. The OGs are not looking to create replacements anymore. And it's okay. And when I say replacements, I'm not saying that you become irrelevant, but I'm saying that you are rising someone up to take the place of your old position. And you continue to grow into a new one. But what happens is they get comfort corrupt in one position. They no longer growing. They see the young ones on their heels, so they create blockades so that you don't get up to this level. Because it's very easy for a person to see you grinding, see you shining. Man, I'm going to share this, or let me call you, give you this opportunity. Let me open up a door for you. That don't happen. We know that. This generation know that. And OG, well, y'all don't like to listen. Well, you're just talking. Maybe that's it. It's too much talking. Do something. See, you can't be an OG for real unless you are in a position of opportunity. To create a position of opportunity. I'm not talking about you just being old. I'm telling you what my definition of it is. Those who are in position, those who can do things that don't move the world to make a way for the next generation. You can't tell me that's the culture that we have. I'm not talking about single examples. I'm talking about the culture, because what we have to do is get away from individualism. Well, one person does this, one person does this. Well, the culture is of a gatekeeper culture. The culture is not of a creating opportunity culture. See, I don't mind bringing people. I created a platform myself because the OGs wouldn't let me on their platform. Even when I got on Breakfast Club, that's because of my peers, Rashad and Troy. And that's because of business that we doing together. That's not because, the OGs over there seen it was like, yo, we got to have 19 keys on. That's not how it works. According to them, shit, I probably would have never been on. No disrespect, and shout out to them for having me on. But I'm just saying, the way reality unfolds, you have to understand the background of these things. You understand me? and when things do happen, it's business. It's not because there's a culture to where we want to, we just thinking in such positive manner that we want to prop up the next generation. No. That's not the reality of it. So I'm not talking about when you see a business merger, a business partnership and opportunity. I'm talking about the actual OG culture, where the original gods is making way for the young gods. And they saying, we love what you do, and they doing it from a place of pure heartedness. See, you can't be homeless in an OG. I'm sorry. Somebody said homeless OG. No, you have to be in position to put somebody else in position. You can be an old man that's homeless, but no, an OG got to put himself into position. This is my definition. So when y'all saying I'm seeing OGs that's this, that, and the third, no, that OG got to be in position to put somebody in position. Because the OG's got to be able to make a way, not just say a way. They ain't talking about somebody just saying something. I'm talking about making a way. It's different. It's different. I'm talking about an OG, old head, a person that has, is just on the streets and homeless. I'm not talking about that. I done got game and listen to, old men. But you got to know the difference between old men and OGs. Same thing between young niggas and YGs. Everybody ain't no young guy. So when I'm saying the OGs had to have a culture where they putting on the YGs, you got the original guys, those in position of power, they got the knowledge and information, right? And then you got the young G's, the young guys that's coming up that they supposed to help and make a way into heaven. Heaven is money, good owns, friendships, all walks of life. So introduce you to friendships of all walks of life. Introduce you to money. You understand me? Introduce you to relationships. Introduce you to knowledge and information. I know for a fact that somebody right now can call somebody and they'll call you and be like, bro, let me put you up on game. And put you up on game, man. And put you up on game. I've been watching what you're doing. You don't even know about this Play-Doh right here. See, that's OG shit right there. Oh man, I'm gonna make a call for the young, put them up on game. I like what they doing. You ain't even gotta know. But for the most part, it's good to have that relationship. That's OG type shit. Opening doors so that the next generation can flourish. See, a lot of the OGs don't know how to be OGs. So maybe that's my responsibility to give standards, criteria, format. You understand me? I think they just don't know how to be. Your war stories ain't enough. So you got to be in position, black man. You got to be in position as a man so that you can make some opportunities. Does that make sense? Somebody say, would this defeat the definition of a poor righteous teacher? Why do you got to be poor to be righteous? Poor was not talking about money. See, y'all got it all wrong. No, you got it all wrong. We talking about rich righteous teachers. Rich righteous teachers. Come on, man. If you a poor righteous teacher, how you gonna teach anybody to build riches? You show me a black man that don't want riches and money, and he don't have it, it's because he don't know how to get it. And if he does, he's stuck behind some illusion. And a lot of people, they claim that, well, I don't want to be a poor righteous teacher. It ain't about money. Whoa. You not being money driven is not an excuse for not having money. I want to say that again, because we be using this excuse. You not being money driven is not an excuse to not have money. Because see, when you are value driven and impact driven, you create money. Anytime I want to create money, I can't think about how I'm going to chase money. I think about what idea that I have to create value that people need. And money will follow value. So when you are value driven and you create real value, then you're going to get paid. It's just different. But see, doing business is hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It's easy to just go out there and teach. I mean, it's not easy in the sense you do got to format your mind. But doing business and teaching, come on, man, that requires a whole nother level. Everybody know that. Everybody knows that. So I don't blame no old heads. I don't blame nobody because I've had, my uncles, fathers, older brothers, you feel me, give me some game. But I'm talking about passing things down, creating opportunities, kicking open doors, making sure that you got the right information, That is not a culture that simply exists yet. Just don't. So I'm exposing it because I want it to change. I'm not exposing it because I want to complain. I want it to change. I think about my position all the time that, I could become a gatekeeper. And I don't think gatekeepers are particularly bad because I don't think you need to let everybody inside the gate. Everybody don't need to come. But it should not be based on your fear. It should not be based on what I feel like young cat go do too much. You understand me? They too powerful. Nah, ain't nobody afraid of that. I had a young cat reach out to me. It was like, come on, kids, we need to have that high level unless you're afraid. See, now that's the wrong way to talk. I'll never reach out to an OG like that. I'll never reach out to somebody in position like that. Come on, man. That don't make no sense. That's letting me your mindset, not mine. Hell, I'm gonna be afraid of for. I'm in a position. I don't think like that. You understand me? Shit, if you go up there and you cook on my show, that's gonna be good for my ratings, my views, my monetization. What am I tripping for? I want you to come up there and cook. Why you think I had Yaki? I didn't know your brother Yaki whatsoever at all. But people told me that was unanimously said that that's a brother you got to have on. I'm not, man, I'm trying to provide opportunity. Shit, that's 1 million plus views. I want to give you your biggest interview ever. That brother deserves one because that brother be spitting. You got something to say. That's the type of activity I'm talking about. You know how many people watch that brother, but would never open the door for him? Why? But they say they OGs. Come on, man. Y'all got to understand it. And you got to understand it. Come on, man. But they be trying to compete, and this is a young man's game. I get it, but you got to understand that there is enough room for everybody. This is what you got to understand. Y'all think that is not enough room because we are not creating a culture to where it opens up opportunity and space. It's about, closing in and I own this, and then nobody can come over here. And if anybody come over here, it's an issue. Man, come on, man. Cut that shit out. Even in this financial game. You can't talk about this because I talk about this. And then if you talk about this, it might take some of my people's. Come on, man. Cut it out. There's goddamn white boys that all be talking about stocks. They all talk about options and crypto. They all talk about blockchain. They all talk about Web3. They all talk about all of these different financial topics. And you scared that somebody go take up your percentage of the 45 million Black people in America when there's a whole world to educate. See, we open up our businesses to the world. It's only when you have a small thinking that you look at each other as competition. No, I'm in competition with who's ever at top. I don't compete with my peers. I don't compete lateral. I compete horizontal. We compete upward. Not sideways. You looking at the people on the side. Those are the people that are walking alongside of you on the same journey. The people at the top, that's the competition. This man got 5,000 students. That's your competition. These people got 100,000. You ain't blinking an eye in their direction. That's my goal. It's just different. So, I exist because I observe. I don't exist from a place of hatred. Listen, I ain't never had a mentor. I would love to have had a mentor, somebody that can give me the game. Put me in the game, coach. I'm not one of them arrogant that I think I know everything. I don't think I know everything, but you do got to teach me something of value and not try to override my way of thinking so that you can impression me with yours. Because if you have a weak way of thinking, I'm gonna call that shit out too. So you got to be a strong OG at the same time, somebody that's respectable. But I'm gonna learn from anybody if they have a mastery of something that I don't have. You know something I don't know, I want that information ASAP. You make more money than me, bro, I'm listening. I'm gonna shut the hell up. See, Dr. Wester calls it the Black God Protocol. Each person has a frequency different than the other person that they can add. Man, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to learn. That's all I want to know. I want to learn. Teach me. Give me the game. But what I'm seeing nowadays, man, I'm seeing the young cats decide to become their own OGs. Say, you know what? We gonna teach each other, bro. Whatever I learn, I'm gonna get on this platform and teach. And then the old head, well, y'all on IG doing this, that, and well, y'all need to be too. You got so much game, get your ass on IG. What you hide from the FBI? Man, they ain't worried about you. You ain't doing nothing revolutionary. Chill. Because if you got that much game to give, that much knowledge to share, you might as well put it on the internet so that the young G's that don't have fathers, that don't have mentors, that don't have somebody in their life can at least stream this knowledge. OGs be acting like the NSA after them or something, like they born identity or something. Come on, man. Ain't nobody worried about you, man. Boy, you got bad knees and arthritis, man. He ain't about to go start no kind of revolution. Chill, B. And sitting there sipping his beer. I don't do that stuff, man. I don't know who watching. Man, you don't sit your old ass down. Come on, man. Get your ass up. Work out. Get able. Learn these new tools and technology, how you can bless the next generation with all that wisdom you got. I love to see the fathers and the uncles and the older mentors and the wise ones come out and share that game. Don't just be watching, looking at the mistakes. Don't just be watching, looking at this stuff. Share. We need it. We want it. We asking for it every single day. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Them OGs be swearing they be swearing they got a warrant out from 1945. They still looking at me for jaywalking. Man, ain't nobody worried about you, man. All the cops in that county dead by now. Ain't nobody even allowed to prosecute that crime. I remember it. Them new cops ain't looking at them old files. Man, you was a cold case. Nigga put somebody in 1965. Talk about I got it be low key. Nigga been low key for 45 years. Oh man, well that's funny. I ain't gonna lie, man. I love OGs. That's one of my favorite things is listening to elders. It is. I just listen to elders and I smile and I love it. I swear that's one of my favorite things to do. Because they unintentionally have so much wisdom. You understand me? Because you're watching a tree. I love it. I swear I do. But we gotta cut it out, man. We gotta cut it out. I've seen it, man. I've seen it in all organizations. Cats don't want to turn that. They don't want to change that. They be like, they want to stay in that position till they 90 years old. But see, that's when you don't have progress being made. So if you want to be in the same position for the rest of your life, then you got to keep everybody else in a same position because they can't be aspiring to be in your position or go higher. So this is the danger of it. There has to be systems that are evolving so that people can move through. Because if there's no system of elevation, then they can't help bring you up because it is counter to the position that they're currently in. And I do understand that sometimes it's necessary because they're fearful of, well, if you let a person into a position of power and they're arrogant, ignorant, full of themselves, narcissistic, they may think that they can handle responsibility of the OG, and that may not be the case. So sometimes young people don't have the wisdom to understand the decisions of the elders because they can see that you're not ready. They don't want to put you in a position because they was once being put in a position they wasn't ready for, and they see them same characteristic traits in you, and they know you're gonna make those same mistakes. So they become more cautious. But that's not for everybody. But this is what happens. So now you have to be perfect for them to help. They gotta see something in you so different. So and you can't just be good, you can't be great, you gotta damn near be perfect. Then they finally be like, all right. But there's too many gatekeepers in the culture because I know more things would change if there was more opportunities provided to those, especially on this side of things that I'm doing. See, rappers, we take the industry and the entertainment industry and we talk about it so much because it's the most profitable one and the most influential one currently that holds position in our culture. So we see those who rap and there are opportunities provided, right? Those who do certain things because there's a whole industry and platforms created around that. Now, with somebody like myself, EYL, Wall Street Trapper, Ian Dunlap, by sheer music type things pop up. There are no industries and cultures built out yet to help produce the next generation of leaders so that not just entertainment, but information and education are also prevalent. There is not a machine behind positivity, there's a machine behind negativity. So there's no awards, there's no recognition that is historically established. But this is what's changing for this generation, that you can be recognized for doing good. You can be recognized for educating and not just entertainment. So I do want to shout out to those singular individuals that are making the change. Because when I talk about things, I'm talking about the culture. Somebody say, I agree mostly. I think you too hard on poor righteous teachers. I don't think nobody wants to be poor, but here's the thing. Nobody wants to be poor, but everybody has the opportunity. There's so many men that don't want to be poor that have not done 100% of everything they can to change their circumstances. And that I know true. Most of the issues with most men is mental engineering. The way you design, the way you think. And so many people are comfort corrupt in their old ways that they're not willing to learn and change and do something new. And ain't nobody supposed to feel sorry for them. If you are alive today, if you listening to this today, you can make a decision right now. Man, I'm about to start a new routine. I'm about to get up and start doing my push-ups. Then I'm gonna go stop, and then I'm gonna learn something every day, and I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna create a plan, and I'm gonna create a new vision to become a new man, which means I'm gonna become a new mind, which means I'm gonna change the way I think, which changes your actions. You understand me? But if you're not making that decision, because in the BW I'm teaching, shout out to Blue Pill. He's one of the few elders that is a torch passer. Matter of fact, Blue, I want you to jump in if you can. Blue Pill 44, Red Pill 44 is what I call a torch passer. Because there's gatekeepers and there's torch passers. See, the torch passer don't just pass the torch, but they light the way. When they see a young cat, they see a YG because they original gods, we young gods. They want to light the way for you. And it's rare that you get brothers like that. See, but that's the difference between the gatekeepers and the torch passers, the light bearers, the light bringers, those who light the way. So somebody else, they may try to goddamn, after they done walking, they go put the fire out so you don't know how to go where they went. No, you got to imagine you walking through a dark tunnel, though. There's all these different ways you can go. The young cats is walking in the dark trying to figure it out. The OG got the torch. He been here before. He got gasoline, torch, matches, everything. He know exactly where to go. You understand me? And instead of lighting the way as he go, he say, nope. I'm gonna goddamn blow the candles out that's on the way there. I'm gonna break the light bulbs to make sure nobody can follow me. We know that this is what happens. So that gatekeeping mentality is done for, because as I heard Dame Dash say, he say they can only be gatekeepers if you keep going to that gate. Fuck that gate. Fuck that gate. Yo, like, that gate don't matter, B. That gate ain't where all the power is. Create your own gates. Yeah, young niggas now. I'm not talking about young niggas, first of all. Somebody say young niggas now. Listen, I'm not talking about them. I say young, old original guys and the young guys. I'm not talking about nigga culture. We know nigga culture is ignorant and selfish. So anything dealing with niggas is supposed to be ignorant and selfish. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who don't consider themselves to be. And when they see somebody doing something constructive, positive, or productive, which is not nigga, then they have a responsibility to help and assist.
You having a real conversation. I mean, as always. And let us do highlight that even in nigga culture is being specified to them that they pass torches. And in Atlanta in particular, they have spotlighted this culture because their torch passes. There's gatekeepers here, but in the hip hop Atlanta community, they say that they have a very fruitful relationship with the OGs because they passed the torch and at least they pointed the way. And there's an understanding that there's a continuum to the job that's being done to get the city lit and get the respect. So when it comes to, let's say, you know, the realm that we operate in, it's a different dynamic. You know what I'm saying? As you can see and as you can attest, because I don't think initially the respect or the acknowledgement, right? Acknowledgement is a big thing. And the lack of acknowledgement will make somebody very sour to their predecessors. You know what I'm saying? To people that are coming after them, they like, nah, I'm not finished here. It's like, nigga, your runner's up. Like,
right.
You gotta, you feel me? You have to impanel somebody else to complete the jobs that you have not done. And there's power in that. We would never taught that as a community because a celebrity is identity driven, it's individualistic, and everybody lost sight of the mission. And the mission is supposed to be bigger than the individual. But social media has told you that you got to build a brand, you got to be an individual, you feel me? And it's all about you. And that ideology, for whatever reason, has also seeped into, you know, liberation, if you will, into consciousness. You feel me? And I mean, I can identify where it started at, but I ain't gonna do that in this live.
Nah, but you know, we appreciate brothers like yourself and individuals that do it. And that's why I was trying to tell people, I'm not talking about everybody who's in the comments like I am talking about the individuals that they know, but I'm talking about the culture as a whole. And all the time, all the time that I'm speaking, not most of the time, I'm always speaking about the whole being of it, the holistic aspect of it. I'm never talking about, yo, you got an old man down the street that's giving you some game. I'm not talking about that. Y'all know I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we call this industry, right? And there are multiple industries, but the culture of the way we create industries is a gatekeeper culture. It's not a patch torch, a torch passer culture, right? So I was explaining this, like, you know, sometimes you can have the excuse, well, nobody know who you are. And this is what, you know, and I want to put that out there because I don't want the young cats to get, you know, if you have this expectation of understanding culture already, then you don't have an expectation, right, of things that won't happen, right? When I look at the position that I'm in now and, you know, culture, and I explain, culture is just a part of ethnicity, right? And this is something that I talked about too, Blue, the other day, is people don't understand the difference between race and ethnicity, because we talk about our race as if it's our ethnicity, right? Because there are so many people that is within the African race, the Asiatic race, the so-called black race, right? Uh, our Native American race, but we all have different ethnicities, right? So we have different ethnic backgrounds. Our language, our religion, our customs, our beliefs are all different. So when they say diversity is the biggest trick on the planet Earth, because they say, well, we're doing this for black men, or we're doing this for black people, but there's only a certain subset of the black race who has a particular ethnicity, right? That you often see in positions. This is the reality. So they're not saying the whole, we're saying that you have qualifying factors. You can be black, but you have to fit in this ethnic background in order for us to consider you. So I know that my ethnic background, because we got to remember, ethnicity deals with religion, language, customs, beliefs, and geographical location. So I know from my ethnic background, you can't show me probably not one, at least not five, that have been given opportunities by the status quo whatsoever. None. Because they're not talking about me. They damn near not talking about you that's listening to me, because they know that you are that power structure. You are the young guys that consider yourself to be a god. You can't be walking around that you're a god and they only give opportunities to niggas. Come on now. You can't say you're a god. They only giving opportunities to soy boys. That's why you don't see yourself in movies. You're not getting the contracts. They're not giving you the awards, right? The OG's not calling you. They're afraid of that breed.
It's now, as we can see with the media, it's not only the lines that divide according to ethnicity, it's also ideology.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on.
And
but see, Boo, I was looking at the definition of ethnicity, and in ethnicity it comes under ideology, though. This is why I'm saying that the word ethnicity is so important, because when they doing an ethnic cleansing in the black community and we don't realize it, right? So if you have that particular ideology, that language, that belief, that custom from that background, they can ethnically cleanse you while making it seem like they're for you, for the black nation, but they talking about your race, right? But there's certain people that have ethnic backgrounds in that race that they want to cleanse.
Yes, absolutely. There is, and I spoke to you in private about this. I think I'm going to bring it into the public discussion, because the evidence is there. We can step back, because perspective is amazing. Once you let them play their hand and then you put the perspective on top of it, then you can step back and people can see it for what it is. So there has been a divergence of two lanes that have existed in this quote unquote ethnicity from the 60s and the 50s, maybe even from prior to that. And we know that Elijah represented one aspect of this ethnicity, right? That understood the direction that we was taking, right? Do for self, separatism, you know what I'm saying? Black man is God. There's another divergent road in this particular ethnicity that might be more so identified with civil rights and the approach that they took. You know, the people who are for marching and voting and getting their redress through going along to get along, right? Those people are entrenched in politics, you know what I'm saying, and things that make them tethered to this particular system. So they don't really want to see the fall of America, right? They want to position at the table, right? The way that they see that they're able to leverage their relationship and continue their ethnicity is they don't want to rattle the cage necessarily. The latest iteration of that particular dichotomy is what we're seeing today. So you have consciousness and then you have woke culture, right? And we can clearly see from the evidence that has been presented before us, you know, even though they consider wokeism a geopolitical term, a global geopolitical term that is determining the outcome of elections, you feel me? And they're even focusing on it now, right here in quote unquote in the US with the midterms coming up. But that is a yes, that particular ethnic tool, you know, does not want to see the continuation or the success of what we would consider to be quote unquote consciousness, which deals more so with prophetic revelations, right? For all of America, you know, we see where this thing is going. We're saying that in order to, you know, secure what it is that we need for the continuation of our ethnicity, understanding our ideology, you know, something has to go for something to stay. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just a political referendum that chooses that. There has to be something a little bit more drastic because it goes a little bit deeper, and we're willing to, you know, investigate and go to those depths where it goes. When those conversations happen in public, as we can see, they're very uncomfortable, and then all of the deflection starts.
That's right. See, they trying to shine up turds, and we know that shit ain't good. That's all they trying to do. Politics is a shiny turd. You understand me? And it ain't worth nothing. And so we, from our ethnicity, because you got to look at ancestral lines and backgrounds, right? And this is important for us to understand, right? You got those who come from the houses of W.D.E. Du Bois or Thurgood Marshall or Marcus Garvey or Elijah Muhammad, right? So these lines background says some believe that the best thing to do is completely work without the system, to do for self. Some believe, you know, that you have to work within the system. That's the best way that we're going to get these things done. Some believe that, well, you have to work within the system and do some things outside the system. You understand me? And some are in complete opposition to the system that itself and believe that this thing has to fall in order for us to build. Right. And so there's these different ancestral lines that particularly create ethnicity and ideology, right? That is now spread across America. And number one, we haven't learned how to, of course, you have to understand that cleanliness and the spot can't stay in the same place, meaning that you can't have, you know, cover up, right? And then want things to be clean at the same time, because most people try to clean on top of the spot instead of completely get rid of it. And so what I'm saying is the fact that it's an unfortunate reality that we all think about freedom in different ways and the way that we're going to go about getting it. And we have no respect for each other's ways, because for the most part, we've seen one way have the most tremendous scale of support, right? And that's the way of working within the system, right? We know that the marching and the shouting and the hooting, the hollering, all of that in the voting, that has been getting the most support. We know that large scale. Now, the ancestral lines of Marcus Garvey and Honorable Elijah Muhammad haven't gotten the same level of support to even see if that would be the most efficient way to go about getting our freedom, right? We've had Black presidents, we've had Black Supreme Court judges, Black governors, Black people in all positions, but yet we have not seen the Thurgood Marshall, the W.D.E. Du Bois way work. So now what they try to do is, okay, well, what J. Edgar Hoover didn't want to have happen, he didn't want a certain ethnic leadership ever to rise up in power. It ain't that I don't just want no Black person. I don't want this certain ethnic. And he described that ethnic.
Yes.
You understand me?
Very, very descriptive about that branch of ethnicity that they not with, right? and they like, y'all get out the way because we're not finna let this come through. We have to kill this seed because we know that this represents disruption. So what does that look like? That's somebody who's willing to turn the table over, not have a seat at the table. There's a difference.
That's a fact.
You feel me? There's a difference.
We got some legends in the building. Shout out to Red Pill and Shaka Bars.
Shaka as well. You know, so that's like where it all comes down to. And I made a statement the other day. It was somewhat controversial, you know, because we have to, again, when we're having these conversations, we have to keep in mind that everyone not have the same level of consciousness, and they don't subscribe to the same ideology. So I said that I say, you know, Jesus had Jesus or Ye had a Jesus moment. And, you know, people took offense to that, understandably so. And I said, comparatively, if we're looking at this individual story as a narrative, right? Let's go to the story of Jesus, just as a story, whether it was real or not. The fact that we read it and we understood it for what it is, I'll give the interpretation. There was somebody from a particular ethnicity that didn't rock with other people in his ethnic group. You know what I'm saying? And he turned up on them. And he's like, yo, y'all is over there hoeing for these people over here who got the thumb on our people, but the people that he was tripping up on was getting benefits and receiving, you know what I'm saying, all of these things. And they like, nah, yo, you know what I'm saying? You got to be quiet. We got to silence you. We got to censor you. And ultimately, we're going to have to take your life. They ran to the people that he was talking about, and they was like, yo, this dude is causing mad problems. We need to pull the plug on him. And they was like, all right, you know, with the permission, you feel me? They went and got it done. You know, those same people are still theoretically in position right now, hand in hand. So he had a situation where he went and he flipped the table over. That's what we saw Ye do. He flipped the table over and he said, what? I'm not being held back by the trappings of what the ideology subscribes to, because the ideology that the ethnicity that he's going against subscribes to is that cash rules everything around me. Right? Their allegiance can be bought.
That's a fact.
Your side can be bought. I mean, it's what they're showing you. It's not even what I'm saying.
No, it's obvious.
If you need an interpretation, let me explain to people what they're looking at.
Listen, here's another thing about this, because I think I said this to my son in his comments yesterday, that George Floyd was a catalyst for white guilt, right? It created white guilt to be at an all-time high. It was the greatest, biggest catalyst that we've ever seen in the history. We're talking about corporate white guilt. You understand me? Where they start shelling out dollars and enacting policies based upon not wanting to be seen as racist, right? And as purveyors of white supremacy. So now Kanye West is, and what I was telling them, because y'all may not think that Kanye is the best messenger, but he's actually the perfect messenger for it because of his position and him being a billionaire, right? Which means that he's got everything that he can possibly get out of this at the height of what people want from the industry. He's gotten billions of dollars. So
right, what they're bending for.
But the last point of that, Blue, is just the fact that there's never been a catalyst for Jewish guilt, right? So we've seen white guilt play out on a large scale, right? But we've never talked about, and this is because this is so important because it's current, that the current culture, right, is now existing in this space where the most valuable thing that we have is our culture, our intellectual property, right? And we've been handed terrible contracts, taken advantage of, and consistently is taken advantage of, right? And rappers have been complaining about this for decades without saying direct names. And there's never been a catalyst for change in an industry whatsoever. So there's never been an opportunity for Jewish guilt to skyrocket. And when I say Jewish guilt, I'm talking about the owners of these corporations. So that has to happen. So however it happens, the same way of George Floyd, if y'all accept him to be a good catalyst as a sacrifice of death to die for white guilt, right, to skyrocket, then how can you not accept Kanye West's, right, communication, what you want to call rant, what you want to call a breakdown, whatever you want to call it, as not a proper context for a catalyst? I'm just saying.
Yeah. And all catalysts require sacrifice. So we saw this individual, he crawled on the cross literally and put the nail in, right? And said that I'm willing to sacrifice the vessel so this conversation can have enough, I say on it that it never goes away, even after I'm gone. And they're attempting to bury that. You know what I'm saying? He put it all on the table. Even if he did it in his pain body, you know what I'm saying?
And I want to say something because I see the comments about Diddy. I'm gonna have to restart the live. Diddy is not the one who cut off the show. He actually was the one who greenlighted it and say, put it on after watching it. You understand me? He's not the one that said cut it off. You mean that the man watched the whole show, still decided to put up there, and Noriega decided to take it down. So I got to give Diddy his props for allowing that to take place. So you got to understand, Revolt is the only platform that is out there that is right now what's considered to be a prominent platform that would even allow these type of conversations to take place. So we got to be careful when we only got like one or two platforms and we automatically make them the enemy. So you have to be careful of that as well, because you could be going against the very operation that we need that can help create catalysts for change. And I noticed that sometimes because we just, I think when we get our consciousness turns into destruction mode. Anybody in my way getting bulldozed. But you got to understand the nuance of what happens behind the scenes to even appreciate what you see in front of the scenes, because you don't get those conversations if they're not green lighted.
Right.
But I'm gonna have to restart this one because it's about to start me over.
All right, cool.
Hold on. We getting somewhere right now. We getting somewhere right now. I appreciate y'all coming on these. I'm gonna try to be consistent with these. Nah, Diddy can't put it back up after somebody says take it down. Y'all gotta understand. You know how much money you lose when you do stuff like that. See, I got some behind the scenes scoop. So I'm not just saying things. I'm saying you got to take it from your brother as I ain't a person trying to coddle nobody. I'm saying what happened behind the scenes. You gotta think what happened behind the scenes. That's important. That's important. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand the way things roll. It's motion out here. A lot of motion out here.
Yeah. Everything's political.
That's right. So if people don't understand that, and I'm just at this point now where I realize that I'm the culture can help create this platform, and we have to be, one of the safe places, that we can have conversation and communication without fear, right? And it's not particularly just up to me, it's up to the people to get behind that. You understand me? To support that, to help put action behind that and budget behind that, because you can't do nothing without budget, right? So what we see is that oftentimes we complain about one thing, but we don't actually help build the other thing that we want to see. And that'd be my whole thing. It's like, I'm not complaining about Revolt. I actually rock with the way that Revolt has been moving. There's a bunch of black men top up and down, and I think he probably hires the most black people that I've seen from any media production ever, right? So I'm not saying that, whatever you may think about Diddy or this, that, and the third is perfect whatsoever, but I'm saying that, especially when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has his hands in certain things move a certain way correctly. You understand me? Now, you can't help when a person jumps into something they weren't prepared for, and Noriega was not prepared for what he was jumping into. He jumped into a hot ass pool. You understand me? And he was not prepared for that heat. And you can tell because he showed up with drinks ready to party and get drunk, talking about one of the most dangerous subjects on this planet Earth.
At 8 in the morning.
At 8 in the morning. That's crazy. You don't do that.
So this was a sobering wake-up call, for the culture, not only Nori, and it exemplified the fact that in order to have these conversations, we should be sober.
Yeah.
And it's a larger euphemism for what's going on in society. It's like, look, sober up so you can see what's going on. Sober up so you can understand your thoughts before you speak out of your mouth, so you don't have to go on an apology tour, right? What did the messages say? Think 5 times before you say something. These are those times that we're in. You feel me? So it's calling for a lot of strict contemplation about things that are being said, the way that things are being said, why things are being said. And there's larger conversations that are emanating. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a very, very, very multi-layer discussion that the culture is finally having at a time when the culture was just, the culture had to, I'm speaking on hip hop for that matter. The culture just had to self-audit itself because the culture's origin came into question. How did it start? Where, as it moves into its 50th anniversary, they're going through this whole process of reinvestigating and reanalyzing and self-auditing themselves, and I'm feeling like this means that the culture is about to take a shift. The culture is about to move in a direction because the culture is searching for its identity. And what nobody's really speaking about is the fifth pillar that's missing from the culture, which is knowledge, which is information. And I utilized a post yesterday from Nori in his time as, when he was in CNN, and his verse where he was talking about down the cross like a Christian, so fuck you and your weak religion. You know what I'm saying? And then he made another comment about the another group that is highly protected in society. You can't even see their names without, a level of outcry. He was not forced to make any of those apologies. And he was riding the wave of quote-unquote consciousness in hip-hop, in particular, the 5% ideology. It just became talking points in New York. People wasn't really subscribed to the discipline. The ideology got seeped into the music, so it just became something cute to use. You feel me? And then it ultimately gets watered down, and then it gets pushed out. And then I would say with Diddy and them represented, and they brought in the early 90s was a whole nother energy. And that energy was exemplified by the Jesus piece, right? Because again, to this day, I have not heard anybody speak about the front of Kanye West's shirt, right? And the front of his shirt was Pope John Paul II. And the reason why that's important is because he debuted it on October 3rd, which was 30 years to the day that Sinead O'Connor tore that picture up on SNL. The observation is that he is utilizing the example of Pope John Paul to say white lives matter because he know our people, right? Because they already got their hands in the cookie jar. You can't stand up after the fact and say Pope John Paul as a pope, life don't matter. Because now this ties into the white Christ and this whole concept of God being white, just Sky Daddy, right? So how can white lives not matter if people have not pushed back against Christianity or Catholicism for that matter? Christendom, Christopher Columbus, all of these things that was moving up into because that was the weekend that was heading into the celebration of Christopher Cologne, do these people in this country know who they are? Do you know who your adversary is? Do you know how you got here? Do you even know what the struggle is anymore? You don't, obviously. And this is Libra season, so all of this is being shown to you. We have not yet gotten over this dichotomy of black and white, the struggle, the black and white checkerboard. People love talking about masonry. So what is these concepts? What is these ideologies? Now, he turned around right after that and started talking about melanated people being, Yahudas being Jews. That's cool. But, the iconography and the people that are being idolized, put in particular position, is causing people to have a mental scramble. They can't see things for what they are. You only see the back of his shirt. How are you ignoring the front of it?
Mm-hmm. Well, nobody wants to have that conversation.
Yeah,
because
nobody wants to have that conversation.
Imagine having a conversation. Imagine that the conversation becomes about the Catholic Church and Jewish media. Oh man,
get tethered, right? Hence the fact that the Pope wears a yarmulke.
Somebody asks, and this is what y'all got to understand. Somebody asks, why is Kanye West so relevant? It's relevant because he's having the most relevant conversation, you understand me, in culture, right? When there are certain moments that happen that can be utilized, because it's very hard to get truth on large platforms. So you don't ignore when truth is said on large platform, because those are the exact conversations we want to have happen. If a protest in the streets, if there was 1,000 people that marched to Capitol Records or Universal Music Group, you understand me, and they was complaining about rights from artists being stolen, then that would probably be on the news, because people will be trying to get conversation going around this issue and matter. That's what a protest is about. So when you have one of the largest platforms in our culture air that, and it becomes global news, then it is now bringing attention to a subject that matters the most, which is this industry that has the most influence, right, over Black people worldwide, which is the hip hop community and the entertainment industry. So this is actually the most important, because what I try to do as a teacher and as an educator is being taken away, because entertainment is now fighting for the same attention and as education. So these so you have to understand that these things exist, and they actually make it the most important thing to talk about. So he put himself in the center of the most important conversation. So that's why he's relevant, because he's also one of the most influential men on this planet Earth. He's not an irrelevant man.
Right. So let's say this, because again, subscribing to the culture says cash rules. So he has the loudest voice in the culture because he has the most cash in the culture. Let's talk about it. If the metric in the culture is cash rules, then you got to listen to whatever he got to say, because he got the most cash. So he's at the top of the nigga hierarchy, right? He sits at the very top. This is what hip hop has created. Not only that, he's a Gemini, so he is prime for communication, right? And in the metaphysics of how we observe and speak about Kanye West, he represents what's called Polaris, which is the North Star. So he is the nodal point. He guides the conversation and the consciousness of the culture, right? So yes, what's on his mind and what he's conversing and conversating about matters very much because of all of the things that are tethered to him that he's influencing at this particular time.
And y'all can't act like y'all mad that he got a white baby mama, because y'all love Kim K. Come on now, Black women love Kardashian more than they love Kanye West. You understand me? Come on now, let's be honest. Come on, everybody who sells his shoes got white women. Jordan, yay. You know what I'm saying? Dame Dash got a white woman. Ain't nobody calling that out, and he be speaking the most truth. So, truth don't care who your partner is. I'm just being honest. You understand me? Y'all been long lines for them Jordans. He got them big ass pants on, and he stayed with a Becky on the arm. So come on, cut it out. Cut it out. The niggas who sell us the shoes always got a Becky. I'm just saying. I don't know why that is. they help them design better or something.
That's your high level observation.
That's my high level observation. Somebody said not Shaq. Chill, B, chill. Shaq ain't in this conversation of iconic shoes, man. Chill.
Shoes are $20.
Yeah, you got to relax. We talking about luxury. Y'all niggas see that shit as luxury. Relax. You understand me? So that's not what we talking about. Y'all know that's not what we talking about. He said he was gonna get on and leave y'all ass for a white girl. That ain't what we talking about. So, but you know, they say LeBron James shoes ain't nowhere near as popular as Yeezys. Come on, man. Stop playing, man. LeBron James don't get the appreciation he gets for being a black man with a black family anyway. You dig? But anyway, you know, the whole point of this, you know, at the beginning of this conversation was just about the OGs and the gatekeepers. And the thing is that we tired of the whole gatekeeper culture. We tired of the apology tour culture. We tired of all of that because
you said something key before. Just let me just get this in there. And
yes, sir.
You said that entertainers and actors and athletes now want to be in our lane of teaching.
Yeah.
You feel me? And they've made it entertainment almost, right? So there was a what we consider to be, when we look back, you know, in 2000 and when the whole conversation about the Illuminati and hip hop started, this was around, I did a lecture on it in 2009. So it started around 2008, you know, around the time Obama came in for the most part, you know, and then the platforms kind of got meshed and melded because they were speaking about hip hop so much that, you know, hip hop kind of got woke, you know what I mean? And then the woke ideology thing started. Then Jay-Z comes with 444 and attempts to subjugate the conversation altogether. And then next thing you know, these people have these ideologies attached to politics though. Right? Attached more so to politics. It wasn't so much street politics as much as it was democratic politics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the presumption is if you're getting an invite to the White House, you don't have no politics, you don't got nothing conscientious to say, right? So then they attempted to start, I have a voice on this. And when the Democrats started understanding that rappers and athletes and celebrities or influencers could start moving the metrics on polling, on voting, they strategically installed them into that particular position. And now here we are, you know, where they have almost churned something that is a very serious platform and position in entertainment altogether. And now it's almost as if we got to fight to get the conversation back on track to where it belongs, because entertainment got it all the way over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
post with it.
There's a lot of different conversations that should be at the top of culture right now, and they're not. So what y'all talking about distractions, yet you go on Shade Room and then you look at every single post that means nothing. Almost every single 99.9% of everything that is posted on Shade Room is a distraction. 99.9% of every TV show that we make as a Black culture is a distraction. And it is further to create conflict and agenda. Right? That's distraction. Conversation about culture in real life is actually not a distraction because it is critical to your everyday life and the advancement of the next generation. So these things need to happen. Because this how
it's not only is it not distraction, but it's somewhat the most important conversation to have, especially in our community, because our community is struggling to find for mental illness and mental health. And what we're looking at is a conglomeration of different examples of what mental health looks like or mental illness. Right. So it can be representing one aspect of what mental illness looks like, but what he's speaking about is mental psychosis on a population. Believing that you got a white God is a mental psychosis that is going to destabilize our community, our ethnicity, our advancement of the people, and it later on matriculates down to what we see in the streets in terms of people not having their mind. Because for the last 2 years, they entrusted their lives, their health, and everything to white men in white coats who failed them. right?
Yeah.
And now they're caught in this place because they attach that to their God and they don't know what to do. Their brains are scrambled and they feel like they're being left without.
That's
they
a
don't
fact.
have no scrambling, and they find themselves, picking up the pieces, trying to figure things out late in the game. So we have to speak about this.
Yeah, because the shit, that's where all the spit. Listen,
lying.
You there still?
And mental illness.
I would say this, and two on the side of, one thing I didn't like about that conversation, and I'm gonna say this last thing I say. One thing I really did not like is that you can't see many episodes that Mr. Ye be having while he's talking. And towards the end of it, what I really didn't like was when he was like, I choose Kim over all of y'all. I'm like, oh man, come on, man. You sound like the highest level of sucker right now. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like that shit should have ended. Maybe it should have ended way before that. Nigga getting drunk, and then all of a sudden he start going real soy boy on him. He start going emotional. I said, God damn, this episode is way too long. This is sponsored by Drink Champs. We need to cut this shit off. That was the part that I did like. It was a few parts that I didn't like. I really didn't like a lot of the demonstration because I felt like it was the wrong place to have it. It's like being at your drunk uncle's table, you know what I'm saying, talking about the realest shit in the world. And I just felt like it allowed culture to pick that apart too much rather than focus on what was actually important. And everybody that I talked to that's in the industry, right, they all told me, yeah, we 100% agree with what the brother has said. Everybody, unanimously, right? And I'm talking about people who are adamantly against him for his comments against George Floyd. But behind the scenes, every single person that I've talked to, they said, bro, no, we 100% agree with what he said. All right, 100%. I mean, not one person was like, nah, everybody. So that is understood. And of course, we would never focus on the topics that are the most important. We will always pick the sensationalized topic that media wants us to focus on because we don't know how to move forward. So the moment I address a person's wrong, like, all right, he fucked up on that. Now let me listen to what else is being said. I don't excuse what a person says that's wrong, right? No, I acknowledge that and I move forward because that's how an intelligent mind thinks. But when you have an emotional mind, you infuse all of it together and you can't get past certain things because we have trauma and trigger responses towards everything in reality. So we don't know how to express emotional intelligence and emotions, period. So the moment that we're triggered, we stay stuck at that part and we don't move forward at all. So everything else is a connotation that's connected to that emotion. So I understand it. I'm empathetic to us as a culture on how we are so emotionally triggered by things and how we don't know how to just have a conversation that's on topic to say, well, I understand what you feel, but can we talk about logic? Can we talk about reality? Can we talk about what's actually going on? And the larger conversation right now, because I think this conversation does draw into mental health, because mental health, I'm seeing, YK Osiris, right? I'm seeing Ray J, both of them talk about committing suicide and things of that nature.
Reach out to these brothers, man.
It's a very real thing.
Hard to watch, bro.
It is, because that industry is swallowing up so many different people, and you got to ask yourself, man, who is in control of that, and what is that energy that's so dark over there that's destroying so many young minds so early, some of the most brilliant? Because this is what a lot of people don't understand, right? You got our soldiers get caught up in a system where they go to prison. I'm talking about our warriors, our Zulu warriors, our brilliant soldiers, right? Some of our greatest thinkers, they locked up in prison. Then some of our most spiritual, talented people get caught up in the prison of the industry, and they get locked up in there, and they go through that same dark spell. So on two sides of the spectrum, where our most physically capable, intelligent, spiritual people are both locked up in systems, right? These systems are privately owned systems and they're publicly owned systems, and they control us. So conversations about prison and conversations about the industry on two sides of the same spectrum. And in the middle of that It's information and education and enlightenment, and it is health. Because when we're talking about wealth, we're talking about the health of our community and our culture. And the health has decreased so low that you're in a poor state of thinking, a poor state of living, a poor state of vibration. You understand me? And once you get in that poor state, you can't think clearly. You don't want to live because it feels like death already. So you're running away from it because you can't see further into the future. You're clouded by confusion. Your shadow self is now taking over, and you are afraid of your own self. You're afraid of the things that you've done that is against your nature to exist in an industry that was not made for you. It was made to capitalize off of you. So, yes, we're living in a time where social media was not made to free you. It was made to make you a slave to attention. We know that this is the reality. It was made to capitalize off consciousness. We know that this is a reality. And the industry was made to capitalize off spirit, right? And it controls the will so it can capitalize off spirit. The streets were made to destroy you and lock you up so that you don't take that revolutionary will and spirit and never go against the powers that be, and you fit into a machine to where they can have more slaves today than they had before 1865.
Cold-blooded.
So brain health, one thing I was getting to, and one thing I'm going to teach in my live coaching sessions in the BWO, my mental engineering, is it goes from mental, spiritual, biological, sociological, right? All of these things matter when you're talking about creating change in a person's life. First of all, a person has to go look at what is, sociological talks about your environment. So even in the female rap industry, they're trying to push everybody into conflict because conflict sells hip hop, conflict sells entertainment. So you see all of the women going at each other, right? Nicki Minaj is supposed to be the gatekeeper, right? And now she's going after the young cats, and they having a back and forth because hip hop is based on a confusion and a conflict energy, right? So therefore, they got to beef with each other in order to sell records because we like to see each other at war for our entertainment purposes. You understand me? We don't want to see what even Kendrick Lamar said that, Kanye and Drake is bigger than him. You understand me? Because he couldn't set that beef aside with Drake. Instead of him supposed to be coming out and being a person that was set on a pedestal, he said, I want to be on that pedestal. No, I want to be amongst the ignorant flock. I don't want to be no leader. So none of them want to be propped up in a position whatsoever of any type of role influence. No, they want to be niggas. So conflict is one of the key things that's being thrown out right now. It's a conflict energy. Who can fight against each other? How can we keep these things going? Right. So when I'm talking about OGs, I'm not making it a young versus old. I'm saying we got to create a better culture. Now, that environment that we exist in today is detrimental to our health. We feel like everybody is jealous of us. Everybody's envy of us. Everybody wants your position. Nobody likes you. Nobody cares about you. Right? Your environment is suffocating. Nobody's speaking positive to you in front of you or behind your back. So your environment creating stress, anxiety, and depression, which leads to suicidal thoughts because life is supposed to bring value and forward motion. And if you don't feel like that's happening, then you're looped in chaos. So you have to change environment before any of your other health starts to change because the environment is stronger than nature. So then you go into biological. Now let's go to mental first. Right? From a psyche standpoint, what you're intaking on a daily basis. So your brain is being constantly fed, right, through this dopamine loop, a false dopamine loop through social media. Your attention span has decreased, right, to a level where you can't fully pull out a thought. It starts and it stops. You're strolling, you start reading. Damn, all right, I'm going, fuck all that. I can't do this. Your brain can't no longer keep a long stream of thought, right? You're not intaking a positive information diet. So therefore, the things that you're thinking about is what you're constantly observing, right? You hear negativity, you're hearing gossip, you're hearing issues, you're hearing problems. That's going inside you. That's being stuck inside you. So when you're by yourself, negativity, issues, problems, gossip. That's the frequency. So you have to change your information diet. So now, okay, I have to change what I know about the world, what I know about myself. So therefore, that is what's in the mind can now express a new reality, right? Because a new world means a new minds, new people. So you mean you need new thoughts. You want to attract and magnify and magnetize different things in your reality. Then you have to change that which you intake because you can only create what you intake, right? So from a mental standpoint, your diet has to change. Then we go from a spiritual standpoint because that mental also goes into things like meditation. Make sure you get in the proper sunlight. It goes into multitude of different things, right? And then we go to spiritual. The spiritual is the most important for us as a melanated people, and this is often what we forget. We feed every aspect but the spiritual side. And spiritually, the karmic balance that we have is very important. Do good unto others, right? When you do somebody wrong, that exists inside of you. You understand me? And you judge yourself and you condemn yourself, and eventually you will sentence yourself, right? And so you have to always do more good than bad, right? And it has to positively outweigh it, like when you weigh it on the Ma'at scales or the 42 laws of Ma'at, and at the end, they weighing your heart against the feather. These scales have to balance out for spiritual people. When you take the spiritual, when we talk about the entertainment community, we're talking about the spiritual community. Expression of breath, of chi, of Qigong is spiritual. Rapping is a spiritual conquest, right? Singing is spiritual. Even sports is a physical, spiritual exercise because it is using your body and breath. It's breath work.
It's using it. Yeah. It's all diaphragmic.
So your spiritual environment matters the most to a melanated people who have a heightened sense of spirituality based on our condensed radiated bodies that keep electricity flowing so that we experience spiritually intense realities on a different level than everybody else. Nobody experiences that until you get this condensed melanin. If you burn something, it turns black. Why? Because the radiation is seeping into it. So you have radiation here, right? Which makes you a high conductor of electricity, right? Which means that you magnify every single thing. So you experience in reality at a heightened sense and position. So your spiritual disposition matters. So when you do something wrong, you're going to feel it more. You have a greater consciousness. You have a higher self-accusing spirit because you have a greater ability to do good because you feel good better, but you also will feel bad more as well. So spiritually, you have to be together. And Blue, I want you to help me break this last one down when we're talking about biological. Because when we talking biological, we talking about let's say we talking about the physiology. We talking about your body, right? If you are not, there's a gut to brain reaction. So when you eat junk, you think junk, you feel junky, right? So if your brain is not healthy, because most of what we talk about is mental health, is brain health, right? Here you are with a brain that doesn't have any nutrients, any minerals, any of those things that allow you to consistently create new cells and grow and consistently develop new thoughts and electrify your brain is dry, is rusty, it is of low vibration and low energy. So you trying to think high thoughts like positivity. I want to think better on this. So I want to rise above emotion instead of thinking of God. That's positivity right there. Rising above emotions into the thinking of God is positivity, but it requires you to feel positive. And that feeling won't happen from eating negative food and trying to get positive mood. Come on, man. Right. So let's talk about this brain issue that people have.
They said that we are sentient beings, right? So the word sentient means feeling. You feel me? So the very single thing that we are is feeling. The way that we feel is by way of our skin receptors. There's a doctor named Bruce Lipton that said your environment determines your biology. right? He said it's not genetics. Genetics don't necessarily determine your biology because your biology is changing instantaneously at all times based on the signals that your skin receptors are receiving. So you can adapt in real time to, exist in any environment that you're in. It's the fact, when you take New Yorkers out of New York and you bring them to Atlanta, right? You give them a few weeks and then you ask them, how do you feel? They be like, man, I feel so different. I could think different. My skin is cleared up. You know what I'm saying? My breathing is different. I have, because of the air, because of the environment, right? You take them out of a concrete jungle and you bring them somewhere like Atlanta or the South or what have you, and everything about them changes. But that shows you that your environment signals your biological changes. You feel me? They start feeling better. You know what I'm saying? Because what? These skin receptors are always sending signals about how we're supposed to be feeling as sentient beings. Almost like if y'all can envision the movie Avatar, right? And they were very sentient in Avatar. They showed how the horses were the most sentient animals in Avatar. You know what I'm saying? You have that same capability with this non-ether hair of yours. You're always receiving and picking up information. And this information is informing you on a cellular level, a biological level, about how you're responding or how you're feeling. You feel me? So if your only reality is a trap house, if your only reality is the hood, or if you go into Drink Champs 8 in the morning and you're drinking alcohol, which is dehydrating brain, it's dehydrating you. So alcohol pulls water from the body, and it pulls water from the brain in particular, and it makes the brain more placid. So you can't have, like he said, this is Drink Champs, this ain't Think Tank.
That's what he said.
For you to have a high conversation and you smoke GMO weed, right? Then that's speaking about the deterioration of brain cells, the foggy brain. So many reports are coming out about medical marijuana, right? GMO weed right now, what it's doing and decimating the minds of the youth in particular. They're speaking about younger people. So if somebody that smoked weed for 20 and 30 years got it, now you're smoking Zaza and it's giving you what you're looking for, what you think that's doing to a 14-year-old who never been introduced to the natural form of cannabis, but they going straight to the chemicalized version of it. It's destroying them at an adolescent phase. They said what? The male brain is not formulated until you're 25. And then it's being promoted in the music. We ain't even talking about leans and pill culture and what that does to the brain, right? So, I mean, I've seen people on pills. I've seen people on lean. I know that it's eating their brains. You can look at their disposition and tell. You feel me? So all of these things, the culture in itself, point blank period, is that the culture's at war with the biological body of God.
That's a fact.
The destruction of the liver, the destruction of the kidneys, the destruction of the brain, the destruction of the lungs. And there's nothing about the culture that edifies any aspect of health that we understand in community is what we need to subsist and survive. And we watching all of the elders or the OGs or the gatekeepers die of the very same things.
Woo! Hey, you going too far now. You going too far now. They don't want you to spit that kind of truth, man.
I'm just saying, it's facts over emotion. And what we're presenting is for you. You could see it. You could Google this. You could research it. You feel me? These are not emotions. I'm not pulling things out of thin air just to sound like I'm being deep. I'm just saying, look at what we're looking at as a culture. Look at what we've lived through as a culture. You know, when I was coming up in hip hop, I mean, I was born into hip hop for that matter, 75 in the Bronx. But by the time I was in the 90s, you know, I was clubbing every day. I was a club promoter. And it was just, you know, alcohol every night. I did this maybe for 19 years straight.
Damn.
That was the culture. the culture promoted that. They promoted it, they edified it, and to this day, and this is before, you know, Negroes had all of their own champagnes and liquors. So now, you know, we celebrate people in our community who have made $1 billion off of, you know, inebriating, you know what I'm saying, entire generations of people. And this is what we celebrate. This is what we applaud. This is who we edify. These are our champions. These are our heroes. You feel me? And you went from selling crack to selling alcohol, right? And we already know, yeah, there's alcohol, there's a liquor store on every corner damn near in our neighborhoods. You feel me? But this is what we celebrate. This is the culture. You know what I mean? This is what we show up for. These are the people that we love. You know, but the question is, do they love us or do they love what we can provide for them?
Yeah, they love what we can provide for them. I think that most of what we experience is, you know, people loving us conditionally based on how they can use us, right? Not loving people for who they are. So there's it's like a slave master having a certain love for his slaves because you build wealth for them. You understand me? Like, I'm sure the slave master had love. Right. He wouldn't want to see all the slaves gone because you building the wealth. You are the one that is doing the work. Without you, that damn master ain't had no wealth. There was masters that love the hell out their slaves, but they ain't love you enough to let you free. They ain't love you enough to treat you right. Love you enough to keep you under their control.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same relationship in the same situation. And hence the fact they're using the vocation of spirit, right? Like you said, hip hop is vocal, artful, dealing with the element of air. People are vocal. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible, they said that Satan is the prince of air who governs music. So they're using the airwaves to sell spirits, which is distill spirits. They're using the faculty of spirit, which is breath, spirits, which is liquor, to do the spirituality in the people so they can have material gains and don't understand what game that they're playing, but then they're contracting and getting into bed with people who have known, who you know what I'm saying? These people are historical with capturing, you know, them soul contracts, them blood contracts, what they call them.
Right.
So now you contract in perpetuity to do the devil's bidding forever. And then when somebody steps up and they point that out and speak on it, you feel me? Then they get crucified. And we don't understand the times that we in.
No, because and so from the biological sense, right? Because I wanted to name this truth and nootropics because somebody asked just a second ago, do we believe in shrooms? Hell yeah, shrooms. We sell shrooms, but you know, lion's mane shrooms, cordyceps shrooms, medicinal shrooms. Mm-hmm. So for all of those right now, like we're going into the winter months, right? And in these winter months, it is very important that you fortify your body because number one, you know, winter brings on the winter sadness, winter depression comes, right? And you when you have less of that sun hitting,
yes,
right, you start to go into that mode of depression, right? You end up having less energy and less minerals. We get thousands of minerals and vitamins from the sun. That's what it does. It feeds us. So going into these winter months is when you have to have your defense up the highest, when you have to take care of yourself. This is why people want to go into cuddle season, because you need somebody around you. You understand me? To try to make you feel good. You know what I'm talking about?
So the extracting of that energy, right? Because where does the energy exist? It exists in the solar plexus. So during the summer, people were supposed to be absorbing that sun, storing it in the solar plexus, right? Storing up that ashe. So when the winter comes, you can go into that storehouse, right? And you can extract the things that you need to keep your vessel going. You know what I mean? It's something like you saving up on the gas, you buying extra gallons because you know that there's going to be a run on the pumps. You dig what I'm saying? So you went and you filled it up and you got it when you need it.
Right.
You know, and then we go into a natural form of hibernation, meaning that our energy, our biological energy, is going to lower to a degree, and then you got to depend on your storehouse or your backup generator, which is your solar plexus. So for the people who fail to prepare for that, they said that the next excellent source for vitamin D is actually mushrooms.
Right.
So the mushrooms are absorbing the sunlight and storing them in the form of vitamin D, and we're able to extract that once we utilize these particular medicinal mushrooms.
Now, how many of you are press one if you use medicinal mushrooms before and you're familiar with nootropics, right? See, I don't think there's nothing wrong with drugs if they enhance you, right? But these drugs that you have are not enhancing you, right? So it's like we don't have a culture that is based on like a nootropic culture. You understand me? Where we're taking things to try to increase our mental acuity, our focus, our memory.
Right.
Instead, most of the things that we take are degrading our body, are degrading our brain, right? It's degrading every aspect of self. And then we be wondering why we're not happy. We be wondering why we can't focus, why we can't remember nothing, right? Why early dementia is setting in and you got down in your 20s and 30s. This is not right. So one of the products that we developed was called Sports Moss. Sports Moss take advantage of cordyceps. Cordyceps, not only does it have vitamin D in it, but it has the mushroom quality of cordyceps, what happens with ATP and density triphosphate, which actually help increase oxygen intake to the blood, specifically while you're working out, right? Which also helps decrease recovery time, because when you get those aches in the muscle, that's because you're not getting enough oxygen for the muscle. And then the muscle is like, all right, I'm tired now, it's done. So you sore. So if you're constantly getting oxygen delivered into your blood flow while working out, you're going to be able to have a longer workout, right? And you're going to have a decreased recovery time. Not only that, it's going to help you with your little swimmers. I always talk about this, right? Fecundity is your ability to consistently produce offspring within the body, meaning that you create sperm within the body, right? So sexual stamina increases as well. Testosterone gets boosted up, right? And the many effects of having testosterone are overwhelming, and a lot of young men don't appreciate and understand that. I don't care what times that we live in, you should not let testosterone go down within the body. It is very important for how you think and how you produce and your willpower as well as a man, right? And this is not only just good for men, but it's good for women as well, because it's going to do those same powerful things that you're going to get and benefit from it. So Sports Moss is the one that you can take as a pre-workout, or you can just take on a regular basis just to have energy throughout the day to help correct some of the deficiencies that exist within an over-chemicalized body. So we don't just have Goldwater. Goldwater is just the name of the corporation, but the mushrooms to me is like with the Smart Moss. How many of you all had Smart Moss before? And I explain what Smart Moss is.
Let me also explain to them that we're not talking about psychoactive. This is not mushrooms that make you loopy.
Right? I wish.
This is medicinal mushrooms that are prepared at a microdose level that you will not get any psychoactive effect. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately.
Strictly. Yeah, medicinal. And yes, cordyceps give pre and post workout, to give you the energy to get in the gym and really push the threshold. And it helps the recovery by limiting the lactate production, which is where you get your soreness from. So this particular product, is amazing in that regard.
That's a super fact. So that Smart Moss for me, man, y'all be wondering how I have the ability to articulate, you understand me, analyze data, synthesize it, bring it down and give you conceptualizations of high-level observations. And my brain has the ability to consistently compute information. It's early in the morning, but I ain't morning. You understand me? I'm live and living. It's still kicking. You know what I'm talking about? But in order for your brain to be in that active mode, you got to have these things that go inside you. You understand me? That allow you to be able to stimulate your brain. Utilize that mycelium network for the myelination of your melanation. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you might not have understood all of those terms, but all I'm saying is you will have more energy than you on sherms. Now, you might not understand that. They don't come from your time. But what I'm trying to tell you is, let me stop playing. But I'm having fun. But the reality of it is, man, we helped out a lot of people with these nootropics, things that can increase, give you that kick in the day that you need, give you that speed in your workforce to be able to go throughout your day and work and be focused for hours. You're going to get a lot more done. And I just seen that they having an Adderall shortage right now. So just first of all, you shouldn't be doing Adderall anyway. But number two, it's gonna have all of those side effects. This is like an organic version of that, to where it's very lean and you're going to get that focus, and it's something that you take every single day so that you're consistent in repetition, right? So you want to make sure that you're putting these things within your body so that your body has the ability to build itself up consistently, because the body has to consistently remake itself.
Again, you know, with all of this ability to leverage influence in society, right? Why we just never seen a rapper promote anything positive? And we know nootropics come from Silicon Valley. So we know that nootropics come from big money and it's around big money. So if you're trying to get to the bag, you already know that this, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you would want to take perks to get a rocket in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to invest in anything that's going to give, you know, energy to your brain, to make you think better, to make you think sharp as a rapper. Because they tell me they drink lean because it helps them rhyme better.
Uh-oh.
Right? I'm like, okay, you drink lean because it makes you rhyme better.
I ain't gonna lie. If it was Think Champs and instead of the liquor, there was Gold Water everywhere. There was Sports Moss. There was Smart Moss. Oh man, it would have hit differently. That's the difference over here, man. You know, that's cool for entertainment. I love Drink Champs. Matter of fact, I just want to say that. Like, that was one of my favorite. It is my favorite hip hop podcast. Just because I had always liked how they was able to bring out stories that were untold. But when you get into the education, the consciousness, the information in the political space, you have to be clear-minded, because that's war. You can't be talking economics. You understand me? Getting high. You got to be clear-minded.
Yeah, these are not things that you play with. And shout out to my I got some veterans that got a podcast called Think Champs. I've been on it a few times here in the A. You know, we got to do better. You know what I mean? As a culture, as a community, as a society. And I want to put on a record. I want to shout out DJ at EFN, because he don't get enough props. You know, nobody's really mentioning his name in this conversation. He always attempts to bring a level, balanced conversation to that platform when it comes to consciousness. You feel me? So we gotta acknowledge DJ EFN.
Yeah, I told him, I reached out to him and I told him, I said, listen, man, it was a great, dangerous, powerful, free conversation. But next time, you know, what did I say exactly? I don't want to misquote myself. You understand me? Because he be supporting a lot of the posts and things of that nature. Next time it should be handled intellectually. If you're going to have a high-level conversation topic, it has to be handled intellectually, not from an entertaining standpoint. And what they was trying to do was have a political, intellectual, conversation utilizing the vices of entertainment. And those two contraptions don't work together. So, and he said, I agree. So, you know, I think it's okay to, you know, make mistakes. It's okay to do all of that. It's learning points. It's just, we got to make sure that we reach out to each other, consult with each other, so we don't have to make those mistakes. Yeah. They can be done right the first time.
I'm gonna reach out to you about a Sentia water too. I need you to put some drops.
Oh man, you ain't no my Sentia. Hey, well, listen, man. Essentially, that's all they had was Essentia, and I was thirsty, so you did.
Okay. You know, but look, let's put this on the record. Let's put this on the record, right? Let's put this on the record. And this is the part I take personal. You feel me? Ye got up there and said that the smartest man that he knows is his daddy. And he said his daddy got a water processing plant in DR. To this day, nobody has asked his daddy's name. Nobody has asked any further information on the water plant. Nobody has, attempted to interview this man or put any highlight on the fact that if we consider Ye a genius, he said his daddy is the biggest genius out of them all. So why are we not talking to this melanated man? We know why. You feel me? But I just wanted to point that blaring omission out that to this day, because he said it on 3 or 4 platforms already, and nobody has followed up with that conversation. Nobody asked the best.
Not to interrupt your wisdom. Now, Fast Cash is asking where you get the smart moss from. It's at goldwater.com, just to let you know. Follow the page that Blue Pill is on. Click on that, follow that page, and you will see all of the products there. Make sure you use promo code Great Gold, all at one word. Get 35% off. This is our first 35% off sale of the year, I believe. So, you know what I'm saying? You're getting heavies. Make sure you go stock up, you and the whole family. Get your products. These are products that we make. So when you're buying that, you're supporting the platform, you're supporting us. It's a family business. You understand me? So make sure y'all tap into our sports products, our nootropic products. All of these things are good and great for you and the whole family. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So, let's do that if we can. You know what I'm saying? Let's attempt to reach out to Ye's daddy, see what this water processing plant is about, see what they got going on in the DR, because water is a major issue. You feel me? And gold water and water is synonymous. So, shout out to his daddy, for dealing with hydration to that degree where he made it a business. I can't wait to do business with him.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Listen, first of all, I appreciate you coming on here, Blue Pill 44, man. Always a pleasure. Make sure y'all go follow my brother. You can't tag Blue Pill because they have him censored on the IG because he be spitting some truths. You understand me? So you just got to get lucky. Type that in and hope it pop up. Blue Pillar 44, right, on IG. But you can also see our interview we did together on High Level Conversations if you want to see him in rare form. You understand me? Spitting that heat. I think his interview was around 1.5 million views to date. It's been going crazy. It's one of the high levelers. So make sure y'all follow. There's Goldwater right there that you can follow. Like I said, use promo code Great Gold. Somebody say the bundles are almost sold out. What we're going to do is we're actually going to put some bundles back up in 5 minutes. They're going to be pre-ordered. We have new product coming out. And I think in like a week. So make sure you pre-order so we can get all of those out to you. A lot of times they sell out very fast because people do care about their health.
You said the discount code isn't working.
Let me text Drea. Maybe you put it because she told me. Let me make sure y'all got your discount code right before y'all leave.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I'm gonna check on my phone as well. And then also when it comes to the bundle packs, I want to put a couple of them live. I know most of the time it's sold out. I know. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. I know what's going on. And one thing that we're working on, I can't get on this phone. One thing we're working on is making sure that, we don't have to raise prices during these high inflation times. So I'm working on something to work out for you all. I know everybody got to raise prices to keep up with inflation, but I don't want health to cost you more because when you're not healthy, it costs you more.
Right. So, affiliate, shout out to the brand ambassadors. We are creating more opportunities for people to participate in being mineral ministers as well, ministering minerals to our population to get them smarter and healthier. And as always, I get on this platform and commend you for being 10 toes down during C-19. We saved a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying? We went against the machine and came out like diamonds. We're standing on our truth and helping our people through. And that's the highest honor I feel, you know what I mean, bar none, when it really deals with leadership and showing up for our people, you know what I mean. You started your conversation earlier about the OGs and their inability to pass torches. You feel me? I feel like, you know, a lot of them, they've been holding on to the torch so long they fell on it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't even there for them to pass. You know, you're gonna be, you know, handed something that might be an empty slate. You feel me? So continue building out your lane, you know, under and overstand that you know what I'm saying, that if the OGs ain't with you, the ancestors are.
Man, so I like that. The OGs ain't with you, the ancestors are.
That's right.
Hold on, I'm about to get y'all. I'm about to get everything. I'm calling assistants. Calling the office now. Whatever is left on site, make sure y'all get all of that. Clean us out. I'm trying to see if we can get it on the phone. I can't get access to the site right now. So.
You know, in this level, this age and day that we're in, you're going to have extreme amount to process thoughts. You have to discern in real time. There's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to differentiate between what's a distraction, what's illusionary, and what's true. You feel me? So you got to prioritize your brain health. For mental health, they keep talking mental health and ain't nobody tell you what to feed your brain or how to get your brain back on track if it has been derailed by overexposure to chemicals.
They ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing for the people, man. They don't know shit, man. Let's just be honest. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing.
They don't. And it's unfortunate.
No knowledge. They be having regurgitated little information. Don't go beyond nothing. You know what I'm saying? I actually be seeing white boys do a better job these days.
And that's sad, you know. But very, very few of them, the people who want to stand in front of you today and have your ear or speak, you know, authoritatively, they was quiet for the last 2 years. They didn't give you no information to help you and your family through this problem, through this manhunt, through this witch hunt. You feel me? They didn't show no assistance in that, but now they want your attention. They want your focus because they want you to vote. And they have been sent into the community to rile up the vote and get you back to the polls.
So I just got an update. I'm going to change the promo code to Mushroom, right? So to use promo code Mushroom, we got the office changing it on the back end right now. So everybody that tried to use the promo code, just hold on. Promo code is going to be 35% off. It's going to be Mushroom at checkout. So now and we're making the packs available for pre-order as well. So now you're going to be able to add the packs. Promo code Mushroom at checkout to get 35% off. So
you want to change that down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue, you know I'm working to get Lloyd Strayhorn on the podcast, on the show rather.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like the IG cut off, but that's fine. We getting out of here. I'm starting to see spam bots come. You don't want none of that. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Make sure you use promo code Mushroom at checkout. Promo code Mushroom. Yes, sir. Listen, oh, they said it had expired at first. That's why. All right, so this one is going to expire, so it's time sensitive. Promo code Mushroom. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Somebody say every conversation does have an objective, it has plots, and it has solutions, right? We just told y'all what the solutions were. You got to listen, right? If you listen, and we gave a breakdown on how we're supposed to create a new culture. The whole thing with me with the Kanye West thing, I think what he's talking about is the solutions that exist in the Web3 fashion where gatekeepers no longer need to exist. Therefore, there are no issues. We gave solutions on the things that you can do to help with your mental health, right? Literally gave a breakdown over the issues, the problems, and the solves, right? And now we're telling you on a biological level, I created some solutions in the form of some of these products that we have. So you really got to, watch, go over, because for every problem we have a solution, because we are solution based. But I appreciate you tapping in. This 19 Keys high level observations, man. Make sure y'all continue to tap in this Saturday. Tariq Nasheed, high level conversations, secret history. Peace.